What's up, guys? It's John with National Sports Entertainment, and I wanted to go into tonight's game. I did see this article, which I found interesting. The long, I guess, whatever you want to call it, the long storyline of the outing of Dan Snyder. So it seems like he's done some more bad things, or they found some things at least. It's pretty interesting. We have actual state representatives looking into this. This isn't just the league. We have NFL officials, but we literally have a state representative looking into this as well. So it's pretty interesting. I'm not sure if, it is pretty funny watching the fake house merge with the fake NFL. But either way, it should be interesting to see how this turns out. I said a while back I thought it was interesting because a couple weeks ago, right before they beat the Eagles, he came out and he said, "I'm ready to start making negotiations." And then they beat the Eagles, went on a little bit of a winning streak. So I had a theory. His negotiations were, I'll sell the team after the year, but I want to make the playoffs or something like that. So I'm wondering if that's what's going to happen. You know, they're coming after him hard. They might give him what he wants. He obviously has dirt on some of these guys. That's what you have to remember. Or Jerry Jones wouldn't have so quickly came out and said, "I have no problems with Snyder." The second Snyder said he had stuff on Jones. And didn't stuff just leak on Jones? So Snyder said he had some stuff leaked. I'm not saying it's 100% true, but I think it is important, and people brought this up to me before, that we start looking at the owners of these teams and stuff, obviously, because that's what matters, like the owners, and there's a reason they keep themselves pretty secret. Now, this game I've been thinking about for a long time because I don't want to say I know, but like if I was a money line guy, obviously money lines are a lot easier, but if I was a money line guy, I would just pick the Raiders. The thing is, I really don't. I think the public is still going to be, in this case, just off my opinion, looking at the Rams, even with Baker, and I think even though he's not great, I think a lot of times the first time it's a new quarterback, I think a decent bit of the public's going to be on the Rams. I don't think it's going to be overwhelming, though. I think a lot of people are going to probably take the Raiders, maybe buy it down to 6, something to that effect. And because the Rams are so bad against the spread, I know they just covered the Seahawks, so you have to wonder, okay, are people going to be taking the Rams maybe? But I think they continue to push this Raider narrative that they're a gritty team that's fighting to get in. So I want really the only two narratives I could think of. Okay, are they going to have the Raiders look really, really good? So that way, if they get in the playoffs as a 7 seed, we will believe them. Or are they going to win another, I think for the 4th week in a row, 3-4 point game? And I think that's where it's going to go because of the public money and because of the narrative. Again, I think they're being portrayed as a gritty comeback team. So even if it's not in the form of a comeback, they haven't been shown as a team that just run away with games. They've kind of been in the thick of games all year. So now they're on TV, and yeah, it's only a Thursday night game, but to me it makes sense to have the Raiders win a pretty close game. But they still I think they look better, but I think they're just going to not cover. So my official pick here is the Rams to cover. We get a lot of games where we like one team to win, the other to cover. But in this case, just going off of everything, I think the narrative helps us a lot. I could be wrong, but it just seems like the narrative is, again, the Raiders are a really gritty team. And then you combine that with the Rams going to 3-8-2, while teams, again, have finished with only 3-4 wins against the spread. We do have other teams with, I think there's another one with 4 wins against. I have to check the exact teams, but just usually the metrics balance out and your worst team finishes closer to 40%. So not that it can't happen, but when I factor everything in, I do like the Rams to cover this 6.5. Of course, you could buy a 0.5 point, but I'll say as I've said, I've done with my sequences. That was the other one I liked. I liked Utah because of the over on Utah College. I'll go into it in a minute. But I've done hundreds of sequences, and what happens is, we didn't buy juice one time, and I went back and looked, and if I had bought juice on some of these, you have to understand, now, just say I bought this down to 10 points, Now we're spending about $31. So it's about $4 more for every time we're going to buy juice. And obviously a sequence is 25. And I can say that I've been clipped on that half point probably 1 in like 30 or 1 in 40 times. So I've been clipped on the half point to a degree where it would be, I would have lost money is what I'm saying all these times buying the half for the one time I got clipped, because I'm not getting clipped at a 6-to-1 ratio. If I was getting clipped at a 6 to 7 to 1 ratio, I'd buy that half. But this is why I always suggest to people, and I go over into my Discord, buying that half point. Vegas knows people are going to be buying that half point. They know they're going to buy it to a full touchdown. So I would wager to say it's not going to be exactly a 6-point game. Sure, it can be. We've seen that before. Trey, what's up? I'm not sure exactly what you're thinking. Are you referring to the eBird? Maybe the bird reference you made yesterday, or I'll read the whole comment in a second. But you're always awesome, Trey. You've been here since day one. I appreciate it. But yeah, I think, again, buying the half point, you can do that, of course. It's always safe. I think if 7's no good, or I think if 6.5's no good, 7's no good either. And that's usually the case. And I just think the Rams are going to spoil the spread. But the Raiders are going to win. Another thing I like about the Raiders is they got Carr sneaking up the fourth quarter comeback list. There's not a lot of active quarterbacks like that are high on the list. You got Russell. Stafford's hurt. I think Ryan's hurt, isn't he? Or Ryan's back now. But there's not a lot of active quarterbacks. Brady just passed Manning. And Carr is behind Favre and a few people. So the fact that I think he's going to have a few comebacks this year. He's actually tied with Russ right now. And he's tied with Eli. So the fact that he's tied with a few of these guys, I always factor that into that. There might be that comeback by Carr. But I don't think it's much a comeback. I think they just win a close game where the Rams play good defense. Let's not forget their defense, is portrayed as a pretty good one. The Raiders do make mistakes. So if I had to call an exact score, I think it might be a little lower scoring than people expect. I think people are going to expect the Raiders to put a bunch of points up. I'd say something like 24-20. Vegas, something to that effect. We'll see how close I am. I could be way off. And then for basketball, I'm going to cover them in the same video. Here I like 2 plays. Now the Clippers, they went over for us a couple times in a row. The thing is, they're still doing abysmal on the over, so I still like the over. So I like the over in this game, and I like the Heat to cover. Now the Heat to cover is a second leg. So if you follow in the Discord, then just so you know how bad my data is, I had to delete, I'd show you right now, I had to delete my Discord and my YouTube app just to make this video, because I have so much data that I guess those apps and then making this video, it just doesn't save. So I have to delete them both and reinstall them every time I do a video. But if you're in the Discord, you see the sequences all the time. We closed them all out yesterday. We had a 4th leg, which the Wolves closed for us. We're up 32 units just since Sunday when I put it in the Discord. And a lot of people have been tailing since Sunday. That's why I put it in there then. Obviously, I have mine that I've been doing since the beginning. And it's basically 231 plus the 32 that are in the Discord. So I'm at around 263 picks since we've started. But yeah, the reason I like the Heat to cover, I don't want to go on that side tangent. I just wanted to explain. If you like seeing things, that's why I always bring up the Discord. I always get my college picks in there that I'm not able to find until the last minute because sometimes they're hidden. I like the Heat to cover this game as well. So I like the over and the Heat to cover because 8-16 is still very bad on the over or on the cover. They didn't cover the last one. So that's my logic. I basically in the Discord I said we're going to be running the Heat for our next leg of sequence. I believe it's sequence 23. And because the Heat didn't win the other night, I didn't just rush into a game yesterday to double up. I doubled up on the ones that I really liked, Memphis, Minnesota. And we did go 5-1, so it probably would have been good if I did. But I do like this Heat cover. And if you look at how the Heat have been playing and how the Clippers have been playing, I think a lot of people are going to take the Clippers over the Heat too. So from the narrative of where the public's going to be and the metric. I love the Heat to cover, but I like the Clippers Heat both to go over here. A lot of people wanted me to go into this game, which I found interesting, and I don't know if it was because of the like symbolism, numerology, because it's not a game I see most people loving. I do know a few people told me they liked the Spurs, and the one thing I can say is I do too. Again, they're another team that's horrible against the spread. Now, while you will see this with teams that are like not playoff teams, you're typically not going to see. Yeah, Trey. The points. Yeah. I think you're you're thinking the same as me. The Rams at the points seems like the play. Yeah. I do think the Raiders win now. But of course you'll see this video by the time you hear that as responding. But yeah, so I like the Spurs. I think more people are going to be on the Rockets, especially with the injuries. Podol's out. That's actually a pretty big injury, and I think people just think the Rockets are slightly better, to be honest. And against the spread's always going to be my deal breaker. So 9-15, I think they get off that. They get the 10-15 on the spread. That's just the first sequence, by the way. The only second sequence is going to be the Heat to cover. The Clippers over is also a first sequence because we closed them all out, so we only have a couple second sequences. And then I think my pick here. To me, this one's a complete narrative game. If the Blazers were getting 5 points, then I'd worry it was a trap. But the public, I think, is going to be all over the Nuggets here. They're going to think that first win was a fluke. And I said at the beginning of the year, I could be wrong. This might age like cheese, or actually some cheese ages very good, but this might age like Swiss cheese in a suitcase. I believe that people just don't believe the Blazers are as good as they are. They think they're nothing. It's just Dame. They're not respecting Grant. They're not respecting a lot of these players. They're not respecting Nurk can be really good. Shadon Sharp, obviously Ant. But I think they're going to show how the Blazers can really let it fly. So they didn't do too good last television game either. And I noticed a lot of times the television games will go back and forth. Now, I do worry because Dallas just beat Denver. But again, I think that's kind of the plan. Dallas beats them and then Portland beats them. It kind of keeps people questioning who's really good and who's the team of the West. So I think the Blazers, you can go money line, 1.5, believe it or not. The Nuggets just had a 1-point game. The Blazers are kind of notorious for this. So here I'm going to pay that tiny bit extra and play the money line. Just because to buy the half a point, they charge you more. Which, so even though it seems kind of, like I said earlier, about the half point, in some circumstances, on NBA TV at 10 o'clock tonight, I could see this being a 1-point game. This is going to be, they're competing with football. Football's still going to be on. Well, this will be, the end of this game will be, way after football. But still, I think they're going to make it a close game. And since it's minus 115 and not 125, 135, I see no reason not to take the money line here. So I like the Blazers to win. I like the Spurs. So basically the home teams, I have them all winning / covering. They're all close games except the Heat. Obviously, then that one here. I have the Heat covering this 6. And I like the over on the Clippers. So we did good yesterday. We went 5-1. So hopefully we can go 4-0 tonight. Let's see. And, even a split we'll take. And also, we have won our last 7 football picks. We won all 4 o'clock games yesterday. Sunday. That night we hit the over and the Cowboys cover. And then Monday night we hit. So we're doing really good. This would be 8 in a row. So hopefully the Rams cover this 6.5. I think they do. And for everyone that's been supportive, as I always say, thank you so much. It's just awesome because, it's just nice to wake up and see a bunch of nice positive insight or just, like I said, whether it's someone offering their opinion on something or someone just being cool and supportive, I always appreciate it. So take care, guys, and happy earnings.